Hey guys, welcome to Pocket Japan and welcome to the second kanji lesson on my channel. If you guys haven't seen the first lesson yet, then you might want to check that out first because some kanji from that lesson are probably going to pop up again in this lesson, so it's going to be helpful. But without further ado, let's pick up where we left off. And the first kanji that I'll teach you today is a very important one, and it's written like this, and it means now. It's pronounced as ima. You first write the roof, and then you do a stroke inside the roof, and then you finish up by making some sort of hook like this. Now the upper part, the lower part, actually kind of resembles the katakana fu, in my opinion. You can choose, by the way, whether you want the small stroke in the middle to be slanted like I just did, or whether you want it to be a completely horizontal line. It doesn't matter at all. That's what the kanji looks like. Ima. And now let's give you some example words. So the kanji by itself is pronounced as ima, it means now. And the kanji of ima, followed by the kanji for day, or sun, is pronounced as kyo. And it means today, logically, this day. Kyo. Similarly, ima, followed by the kanji for moon or month, would be kongetsu. Means this month. I'm gonna skip writing the kanji for now multiple times because it's just a waste of time, and you follow it up with the kanji for year, for example. Then you would get kotoshi, this year. This year. Or the kanji for week. You get the word konshu, this week. Or the kanji for morning, you would get kesa. Even though the kanji for morning by itself is pronounced as asa, in this case it's kind of like merged together with the ima, and it becomes kesa, means this morning. Morning. And last but not least, let's say the kanji for evening. That would be a good example as well. It's written like this, and it's pronounced as konban. As you can see, when it is used in a compound word, the pronunciation is quite often kon. It's one of the on readings, and it means this evening. There you go. That concludes the first kanji. Now let's move on to the second kanji that I want to teach you today. And that would be the kanji for child. It's especially since last episode I managed to teach you the kanji for man and woman, but I didn't quite get to say child because I didn't have enough time. You write it like this, and the first stroke is like so, followed up by a vertical hook like this, and then a horizontal stroke that goes through. There you go. It seems like an easy kanji to write, but it's actually quite tricky, especially in the beginning. Make sure that the horizontal stroke at the end is wider than the rest of the kanji, and then you should be somewhere in the ballpark, or whatever the saying is. Now, some words that feature this kanji. So the kanji by itself is just pronounced as ko, whereas if you want to specify multiple children, so just the kanji by itself is the singular child, but if you want to say children, then you can have the kanji for child followed by this kanji. And there comes the word kodomo. Kodomo. And it can mean either child or children, plural. Okay, then a word that we saw in the last lesson, for example, the kanji for man or the kanji for woman, either is fine, followed by the kanji for child would be either danshi or joshi. And it means boy and girl. Now that concludes the kanji for child. The next kanji is, it's going to be an adjective, and probably one of the most important adjectives, and it's the adjective big. Now I guess in any language, big is a very important one. It's quite easy to write. It's just a horizontal stroke followed by something that looks like the kanji for person that goes right through it, like so. The kanji for person, if you don't remember, is this kanji. So there's basically just a stripe with the kanji for person running through it. It means big, and when used by itself, it would be oki. Oki. Now, I do have to point out that oki, when you put it as oki, it's a lengthened o in the beginning, but not lengthened in the way in hiragana that we would usually lengthen it. So usually we would do hiragana o followed by the hiragana u, and that would be a way to lengthen it o. But in this case, it's o followed by another o, and then ki at the end. It's an i adjective and it means big. Okay, another very common word would be the word for university. It's big followed by this character. Now you might notice that the lower part here actually is just a child, the one that we saw just earlier. And it's a part of the kanji for studying, but together it means university, and it's pronounced as daigaku. Daigaku. And it means university. Okay, if you want to say a university student, then you just add se at the end, and then you would get a university student. There we go. Some other words, the word for big, or the character for big followed by the character for person, would be pronounced as otona. Otona. And logically enough, a big person means adult. Adult. Are there any others? Oh yeah, there are some adjectives that I want to teach you. A very popular one, especially in anime, so anyone who has basically had some exposure to Japanese pop culture will probably have heard this word. It's a character for big, followed by this character, followed by this character. It's a na adjective, and it's pronounced as daijoubu na. Daijoubu. Daijoubu na. And it means nothing more than okay, alright. I'm alright. Daijoubu da. For example, after you fell and they ask, are you alright? Yeah, I'm alright. There you go. And then a last one would be the character for big, followed by this character, and it's pronounced as taisetsu na. Taisetsu na. And it means important. It's a na adjective, just like the one before. Important. Okay, that concludes I think it's the third kanji. I could be counting wrong, doesn't matter. The next kanji is, of course, the opposite. That would be the kanji for small. And you write it like this. So you write a hook, and then a stroke on the left and a stroke on the right. I'll try and write the hooks properly. There you go. And it's pronounced by itself as an adjective, an i adjective again, and it's pronounced as chisai. And you write it as follows. The character followed by the hiragana sa and the hiragana i. Chisai. Chisai. And it means small. Okay. Similarly to university, you can also have a primary school, because this is a character for small. It would of course make sense to be the lowest level school, and it's a word called shogakko. By the way, the gaku from daigaku is featured in this word as well. Shogakko. And it means primary school. Shogakko. Primary school. Now, are there any others that I can come up with? Oh, well, I guess this one. The first one, it means small, and the second one means finger. That would, of course, be your smallest finger, koyubi. And it's your pinky finger. Pinky finger. There you go. That is the next kanji in our lesson series. The next kanji that I want to teach you would be the following. It's written like this, and it means what. It's very important. Basically, whenever you ask a question, you're probably going to wind up using this word in one way or another, and it's pronounced as nan or nani, depending on what word it is used with. So you start off by doing this stroke, then the vertical one, and a little box in the middle, and some sort of hook, or like a sort of like T shape here on the right-hand side. That's how you write it. Yeah, it means what. And let's make some words with it now. So if you want to ask the time, you would say, Nanji desu ka? Ima wa nanji desu ka? If you go back to the first kanji of this video, ima means now, so what time is it now? Nanji. The character for what, followed by the character for indicating time or hour. Nanji. Nanji. And it means what time. 今は何時ですか? Is a full sentence that you might probably use a lot. Similarly, you could have 何週間. 何週間. Now, 週間 means a week as in length, so 何週間 means how many weeks in length. So, for example, this program, how many months, or how many weeks does it take, or how many weeks does it last? 何週間. 何週間. How many weeks? Nan or nani, followed by the character for person, would become nanni. Oh, I made a little mistake here. Nanni. And it means how many people. How many people? There you go. I guess you get the point. It's quite an important kanji. I use it quite a lot whenever I write Japanese. Following up this kanji, well, let's just do the kanji for hour or time. And it's written like this. Now the left hand side of this character is actually just the character for sun or for day, the one that we saw in the very beginning. So you write that first, just as if you would write the character for sun, but it's a bit more squished horizontally. Followed by this part, and then this part. It's pronounced as toki by itself. Okay, and let's make some words. So the first one, that could be toke. Oh, I wrote the second kanji first. You have to start with toki as first, of course. Toke, and that means a watch. Toke, a watch, as in on your wrist, for example. Then any number followed by the character, of course, would be the time of the day. So ichiji. Ichi means one, by the way. Ichiji, but it can be whatever ji, depending on what number you use. Means 1 o'clock. If you want to specify how many minutes come behind it, or if you want to say 1 hour and a half or 3 hours and a half, or no, let's rephrase that. 3:30, that would be ichiji han. Ichiji han. 3時半 in this case, of course, because it's 3. 3時半. That means 3:30. There you go. I guess you get the point. There are a lot of words that you can make with this kanji, but let's just stick to some of the beginning ones. Next up, what could we do? Yeah, I guess let's finish off by writing the characters for names. If you want to introduce yourself, you would say 名前は, 私の名前は, whatever your name is, です. The first character of 名前 is the following. It's just this part followed by a small box on the lower right hand side. There you go. And some words with it. So you have the word 名前. 名前. And it means name. 名前. Next up, you could have 有名. It's a not adjective. 有名な人. And it means famous. Yeah, that's about it. These are some of the most crucial ones. You can use yume if you want to practice the adjectives. By the way, I just finished the adjectives, the adjective lessons, the grammar lessons, so you can check those out if you want. Now on to the next kanji, the last kanji of this video probably, and it's the following. There you go. It's actually the second kanji of the word namae, so it's the second part of the word name. Again, it consists of 3 parts. This is the first part. You add the second one, which is just the character for moon, but again, squished horizontally. And then you finish off by doing this kind of like these 2 strokes at the right-hand side. Again, namae, I don't have to write it 2 times. Some other words that feature this kanji would be just using the kanji by itself. It means in front of or before. So for example, ichiji no mae, the ichiji, the 1 o'clock that we just saw. So before 1 o'clock, ichiji no mae means before 1 o'clock. Before 1 o'clock. There we go. What else could we do? Oh yeah. The word zennen is quite an often used one. Zennen. It's just the character for before and the character for year. Zennen. Oh. Zennen. And it means the year before. It's quite a formal way of saying it, by the way. The year before. Similarly, again, the character for before followed by han, as in half, would be the first half. Zenhan. Zenhan. Now that concludes the second kanji lesson of the series. The first half. There we go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, I was actually thinking that was going to go much faster, but apparently I do need to take my time to explain the kanji and the words. Nonetheless, I really enjoy making these ones, so thank you very much for watching, and if you have any questions or any tips, then feel free to leave a comment down below, and see you guys around in some of my next videos.